With us now is Jozy Acosta-Nisperos, founder and president of the civil society group, The Silent Majority. Hi, Ma'am Jozy. Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
All right. Okay, of course, in simpler terms, ano po ba yung main complaint ng ating ipinasa, no, ifinail kahapon?
We filed a case against Sara Duterte on graft and corruption and plunder, culpable violation of the Constitution, and other high crimes, and of course betrayal of public trust.
And I think there was also a same case that was filed last December with other groups, no, composed of journalists, priests, academe, etc.
Right.
So, bakit hindi na lang po natin sinuportahan yun? Why, bakit po natin naisip na mag-file separately?
Right. The previous case that was filed only focused on the confidential funds. So this particular case expanded. It's actually in support of that first filing, but it expands the case to include other transgressions that Vice President Sara Duterte, that we are alleging that Vice President Sara Duterte committed. That includes violations that she committed as far back as when she was mayor, because we feel that we have established a pattern of behavior, and also that these previous transgressions have fallen by the wayside. Kumbaga lumabas na siya, napag-usapan, pero dahil walang nag-file ng kaso, nakalimutan na siya. So we believe it's important to hold our Vice President accountable, not just for the violations she committed now, but also for the violations she committed in her previous roles as a public official.
All right.
Ma'am Jozy, does your group also plan to file an impeachment case? Kasi alam natin na at this point in time, there's still a debate whether the Vice President is immune from all of this while she is in office.
Right. There is a plan to file a case, file impeachment against VP Sara Duterte on February 6. I can't say for now who the group is going to be. Now, I actually made a mistake yesterday and said that I specified a particular group, but I think I was mistaken in that. But I do know that there will be an impeachment filing in February 6. As for the immunity, we believe that Sara Duterte is not immune from suit. It's that there is no law that says that she cannot be charged or indicted while in office. We do know that she cannot be removed from office other than by impeachment, but there is no obstacle to having cases filed against her.
So yung impeachment po is not from your group, or are you supporting the group that's filing also?
It's not from our group, but we would support it.
Okay.
All right. In your case that was filed yesterday, you also highlighted of course, included the affidavit from Ramil Madriaga, the so-called bagman of Vice President Sara Duterte. So how critical is this affidavit in your case?
It's very critical. There's been a lot of discussion about the veracity of his testimony, and we believe that's not something that's going to be settled on Facebook. No? The importance of including it in our case is that it will finally be investigated, and the courts can finally make a decision as to the veracity of his testimony. And that's all. That's what's important. It's not the back and forth on social media. We are as interested as anyone to know if what he said is true.
Okay, so the impeachment case that was filed against the president, sinasabi nila that it lacks substance and wala daw masyadong mga documents na supporting the case. But this time around, dito po naman sa final yun na case against the vice president, meron po ba tayong supporting evidence aside from all that na napakita na po before?
Yes. the thing with the ombudsman, the case that we filed with the ombudsman, I believe the ombudsman has a kind of an agreement with the Anti-Money Laundering Council
Yeah.
that they can subpoena um, bank accounts. No? So finally, we can find out if it is true that Vice President Sara Duterte, together with her father and her husband, do have these secret accounts, and you know that they have been receiving obscene amounts of deposits in those accounts. So I think that's very critical.
And siyempre ma'am, no, ang katanungan ng marami, how did this collaboration with former Senator Trillanes come about? Was siya ba ang lumapit or kayo ang lumapit po?
I've known Senator Trillanes, former Senator Trillanes, since 2016, and you know we have common advocacies. We fight for common causes, and in the process, we've come to know each other. I consider him a personal friend, and you know, through our discussions, we decided it's high time to file this case.
Okay, so confident.
case.
All right. So we all know confidential funds are, by nature hard to audit. So I was wondering, what for you and the rest of your group crosses the line from discretion to criminality?
Well, first of all, it's whether you even have the, I don't know, jurisdiction is the word, no, pero if your office, specifically the Department of Education, has the mandate to conduct, intelligence operations. So then palang questionable na. And then secondly, if you cannot account for them and you submit receipts that are obviously gawa-gawa lang, that certainly raises questions. From a layman's perspective, the silent majority is made up of civilians, professionals. We are not lawyers, but from the civilian's perspective, that really raises questions, and those questions deserve to be answered. Why? Bakit parang niloloko tayo?
Yeah.
Na kung ano-anong mga resibo ang pinapakita sa amin. So for us, that crosses the line.
Oo. Pero kasi yun nga yung in her defense, lagi yung sinasabi, confidential nga ito 'di ba? There are certain names that we cannot divulge. There are certain, resources that we cannot say, in public. That's why hindi siya basa-basa na o-audit. So, yun lagi yung nagiging defense na kapag ito yung pinag-uusapan, yung confidential funds. Your thoughts on that?
Right. Confidential funds, when you say confidential, siguro nag-misinterpret na dahil confidential funds, everything about it is confidential. No? And that's something that we need to clarify. And I think this case will clarify it. No? Confidential, yes, but you justify kung saan programa ang nilalagay yung confidential funds na yon at anong objectives ng mga confidential ng mga programa na yon. So hindi siya blanket confidentiality. Those are the things kung saan napunta yung confidential funds and para saan napunta doon yung confidential funds, kailangan mailinaw.
And I think ang isa din sa pino-point out nila na crucial dito in terms sa issue nga po ng confidential funds and yung parang in 12 or 11 days naubos agad yung certain amount na yun. Is that also included in your complaint?
Yes, it's included.
And I remember po, ma'am, si VP Sara was saying that supposedly sa confidential funds, she was supposed to have in possession a ledger of the names of those, like for example, yung piatos, yung mga chips, yung mga chichirya people. She's supposed to have the names and the real names and the alibi names sa book, pero it was never presented. Kasama po ba yan sa sa final nyo na wala naman siyang pinapakita until now in her defense? Right.
In fact, one of the things that we mentioned in our case is that there's been stonewalling the investigation. So she has not really been cooperating despite all her allegations outside of the hearings. When it comes to the hearing itself, she has been stonewalling and not cooperating. So this is now her opportunity, if she really does have those ledgers, we are giving her the opportunity to present them in her defense.
At saka ma'am, others are saying baka this is ang pinakamalalang kaso na maabot daw ng Vice President is command responsibility because some legal luminaries supporting her side may say na it could have been done, people in her office could have been the ones doing this at hindi daw siya.
Well, command responsibility is, it's a valid a basis, no, to bring these cases against VP Sara. But we also have other evidence that says that she has direct involvement. No? So the first one there you mentioned earlier are the bank accounts.
Okay.
Because one of the charges, one of the counts is that she has been receiving illegal or she has been getting money from illegal sources. So may evidence then, and that's direct involvement. No? That's the accounts are under her name. The other is the allegations of bribery that she has given to that officials. So that's also direct. No? She's the one who authorizes the disbursement of the confidential funds. There's also the matter of incompetence. No? As DepEd Secretary, it's more than just command responsibility. If you are not meeting your targets, that's your direct responsibility. If you are only building 192 classrooms out of a projected 6,000, so that's incompetence. That's inefficacy. That is directly under the responsibility of Sara Duterte.
And I understand, ma'am, also, no, it was in the news months back or last year that even the manner of which the confidential funds were used, withdrawn, and disbursed was borderline illegal because cash daw ang umikot. Hindi daw dinaan sa transaction, manager's check, or online methods.
Right, because that would have provided a paper trail, and that's why that's not allowed in our system to be providing that. So that's one of the points that will be raised.
Okay, so kasama po doon sa allegations cited in your complaint yesterday is itong bribery and corruption for allegedly receiving money from a drug lord during her term as a Davao City Mayor. Of course, first, kasama pa po doon sa complaint nyo nung siya po ay Davao City Mayor pa. And can you tell us more about this complaint, this allegation?
Right. This is connected to the bank accounts because there has been evidence that will be or can be revealed in the trial, no? When the ombudsman finally hears this case. There is evidence that there is money going into her account and her joint accounts with her husband and her father, and this can be traced to Samuel Yang, who is a known drug lord.
Okay, so pero dun po kasama po yun may mga evidence po kayo and supporting documents to back this allegation.
Right. I believe Sunny Filianes has actually seen those bank accounts, yung statements, no, pero he is constrained from revealing them, no. With this case, the ombudsman can compel the release of those statements.
And of course, aside from former Senator Sonny Trillanes, meron pa po ba tayong mga ibang known personalities that are supporting the group in filing these cases against the Vice President?
It's really the Sonny Trillanes and the silent majority. And I think being citizens of the Philippines, being just regular people, gives a strong boost to the case because we, as citizens, as lay people, are really interested in how our Vice President is using the taxes that we pay to the government. So this is our money. that is being spent. And we have the right to know if it is being spent wisely.
Right. But of course, a lot of people, or some people are saying, no, or accusing na this complaint is, it's just politically motivated. What do you have to say to that accusation?
I think that is, the intent of that is to put the complainants on the defensive, right? It's to evade the issue. It's to avoid answering the questions. It's to parang shame us into silence na, oh, we shouldn't file this because people will think it's politicking. But it's still all right. No, regardless of any insinuations that people will make, we are pushing through with this complaint. We know what our motivations are and our intentions are, and even if they don't believe that we are not merely politicking, makikinabang naman tayong lahat, diba? And that's the intent. Also, what is wrong with letting people know beforehand the character of the person that you might be voting for? So if that is going to be a benefit of this filing, then we're all for it.
And how confident are you, ma'am, that si Ombudsman Remulla will fairly take a look at this case? Given alam naman natin, si VP Dutertes have great political clout with a high chance of being the next president, just in case. So there might be some pressure also. We're not saying there is, but of course, we can't discount that notion.
Well, we're putting our faith in the system. We're putting our faith in our democratic institutions. That's one of the reasons that PSN got involved in this, because we are a pro-democracy group, and as such, we believe that we need to put our democratic institutions to the test. So, on the line din ang ombudsman dito. Will they, diba? It's the opportunity for the ombudsman to show that they can be impartial, that they can be fair, that they can be thorough. And we take heart in the fact that they were able to file a case against Senator Bong Revilla in a month, I think. That was the timeline. So they were able to do that with Bong Revilla for a much lesser amount. So we trust that they will do the same with this case.
All right, so you mentioned earlier that there's a certain group that is going to be filing an impeachment complaint against the Vice President Sara Duterte. I was wondering, bakit hindi na lang po doon kayo nag-focus on filing of impeachment complaint, no, instead of doing this yesterday? Kasi sinasabi na, plunder, medyo mahirap yung kaso na yan because there's a certain amount that you need to to prove na nagasta, etc., whatsoever, yung mga sinasabi ng mga legal luminaries. So, your thoughts on that po?
Right. I think that this complaint, rather than conflicting with the impeachment complaint or being redundant, superfluous, will actually be supportive of that, of the impeachment. Because, first of all, as I mentioned earlier, the ombudsman cannot remove Sara Duterte. It's only by impeachment. However, based on their investigation, they can recommend to the House of Representatives to have Sara Duterte impeached. So that will provide more impetus for the Congress to hear the impeachment complaint against Sara Duterte. That's one. Secondly, with this complaint, because the ombudsman does have the ability to obtain the statement of accounts of the bank accounts, that is something that can then be included in the evidence of impeachment.
So parang sa madalit sabi, ma'am, ibig sabihin parang mas confident kayo na mas magkakaroon ng accountability in filing such case rather than antayin yung mga nasa Congress and maipasa sa Senado na ulit yung impeachment complaint against the Vice President. Tama po?
Absolutely. Opo.
Oo.
And ma'am, what else can we expect from your group while waiting for all this to happen? Do we expect any other moves or caravans or prayer rallies?
Right. Yung grupo ng TSM po has been involved in various forms of protests, no, and demonstrations. Because you can express your grievance in so many ways, no. You can do it in social media. You can do it through street protests, and and we've been doing that since 2016. And another avenue of protest is legal action. And that's also one way that we have tried to register our disagreement or disapproval with some of the things that are happening in our country. As an example, in November 14 last year, we filed a case against Senator Chis Escudero at the COMELEC on the illegal donations that he received for his campaign in 2022. So this is not the first case that we've filed. Actually, in 2018, we were also the group that filed a case against Kalida, which exposed the parang monopoly of contracts, of government contracts that the security agency got from the government, no? And that actually shattered his hopes of being appointed as ombudsman. So yun ang mga ginagawa ng grupo. So yes, we're present in social media. Yes, we're present on the streets, but also, as I mentioned earlier, because we believe that we need to also hold accountable our democratic institutions, we are putting them to the test by filing cases against officials that we believe need to be held accountable.
All right. Thank you for your time. Jozy Acosta-Nisperos, founder and president of the Silent Majority.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Good morning.